Everyone, take a look at your screen. This is Anna Walshe. If you want to know more about her case, please continue watching.
You are watching Roll a Mile in My Shoes TV.
Everyone, this is Anna Walshe, and according to police, she has been missing ever since January 1st of 2023. So that is a horrible way to start off the new year. And also, according to police, her husband, Brian Walshe, was arrested and charged with misleading an investigation because he told police that his wife, Anna Walshe, took a rideshare from their home to the airport, but no rideshare service has any records of her making a trip to go to the airport, leaving their home. And also, she was supposed to board a flight to a conference, I believe, on the 3rd of January, and she also did not board that flight. And initially, although her husband allegedly knew or may have known that she was already missing before she was supposed to board her flight, her job is the one that called and reported her missing. So this makes her husband look even worse. It is also important to note that Mr. Walshe, Brian, Anna's husband, was already on house arrest. I'm not sure for what, but I believe it has something to do with the fact that he was allegedly selling fake Andy Warhol, paintings, and he was also lying about his income. So basically, he was lying about his income to his wife, as well as selling fake Andy Warhol paintings. Now, I'm not a person who likes art and paintings and that sort of thing, but according to what I've heard and read about these paintings are not cheap. They are not just something that you can go pick up at your local decor home store. So they're not cheap. And, I'm sure that they are, rare and expensive.
30 years on the run, Ray Carr joins us right now. Ray, you look at that and you just think, what was this guy thinking?
Offenders are going to lie about a violent crime, mostly because they want to redirect the investigation. In the case, the husband, as you know, was not as cooperative with the attorneys, and that's why he's under arrest. His attempt to redirect the investigation was to provide inaccurate information to law enforcement. The problem with that is he's unfamiliar with the investigative procedures, and this can make him even more obvious as a suspect to investigators.
Yeah. Indeed.
Some of the information that he may have done is going to help law enforcement actually result in a swifter solution to this crime.
Well, as I noted a moment ago, Ray, he is not charged with murder. He's charged with misleading investigators because he talked to the cops. And apparently he said, on January 2nd, the only thing I did was I took my son to the ice cream shop. He also apparently at 4 o'clock in the afternoon went to Home Depot, where it's like, how convenient that you forget to tell us that you bought $450 worth of stuff that would clean up your wife's murder, essentially is what they're saying.
Yeah, but when's the last time you went shopping and bought $450 worth of cleaning equipment? I think that there's
Never.
other items there that are going to lead us to find out exactly
Yeah.
what may have happened here. But there's a slew of red flags here that and law enforcement, although they haven't charged him with homicide, I anticipate that will happen.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now, here's the thing. The cops have revealed that the story is what he told investigators was she took a rideshare car to Logan Airport, I think, on New Year's Day. And that's the last he saw her, 6 a.m. But here's the thing. The rideshare companies have no record of ever picking anybody up at that address on that day and that time. And also, apparently, her phone was pinging at their house for the next 2 days. So it's like, okay, so how do you explain that?
Well, a lot of times when I lie and tell you something, the reason why I'm doing that is I'm allowing distance between myself and the actual crime itself. So what I understand from looking at this is that the first people to report her missing was her company.
Yeah.
And I think that forced her husband to do that as well. And he needed to distance himself from her disappearance. And by telling that story was a way to do that. Although we know, and because law enforcement has told us, that she did have a flight out on the 3rd to Washington, D.C., and she did not get on that flight as well. So he's just trying to provide information that's going to redirect the investigation away from him.
Yeah, well, there are so many red flags. It is very curious. The lead story at the NewYorkPost.com right now is that apparently she, the missing mother, the week before she went missing, called her mom and begged her, please come. There are problems here. So, I'm sure the mom is kicking herself that she didn't go.
I'm really not surprised by that. There was a pending sentencing of Brian Walshe for a federal fraud case where he tried to sell 2 Andy Warhol paintings to someone out in Los Angeles. And, that kind of leads to the fact that he was also on house arrest with a monitor.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of red flags when you look at it.
Sure.
The blood in the basement, the knife
knife,
that was found.
The
with
whole
blood on
thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they changed the charges sooner than later. Ray, thank you very much for joining us today from Pennsylvania.
Now, according to many articles that I have read on this subject, it seems that Anna was working on getting custody of her 3 sons that she had with Brian Walshe. And I guess he did not like this, and he did not want her to leave the marriage because since he was on house arrest, she was basically the breadwinner, and she was anyway because, he was lying about his income this whole time. And so I guess he decided to, feel like if he couldn't have her, nobody else could. And she wasn't going to take his kids from him either way. So he decided to allegedly, possibly, kill her. And this seems like what he has done. And on Thursday, January 13th, search warrants were executed for to search for her, Anna. She was also not just a mom, she was a real estate agent as well, and she was doing pretty well in her career. And this is pretty much why she was the major and only, at this point, breadwinner. And her family and friends also say that, even though she tried to hide it, they knew that her and Brian were, going through, or he was putting her through domestic violence, and she tried to hide this, but her family and friends, knew. because you can only hide it for so long, even though you might try. And her family and friends also said that they know pretty much that something has happened to her, because there is no way she would not just not show up for work, and there's no way possible on this earth that she would just leave her 3 boys without saying anything to someone, including her mother and her friends as well. And her husband, Brian, was also heard saying that, I'm going to do something to you and your friends. And, he has possibly, allegedly, made good on his threats to do something to her. Because unfortunately they have found a knife with DNA evidence, I'll just say that, on the knife in the basement, along with other DNA in the basement. And we can pretty much put the clues together here. And I'm pretty sure that DNA is possibly going to come back as belonging to Anna. And, hopefully the arrest and all the charges will be updated to match what a lot of people are fearing to be the worst at this point. Even though the warrants were basically not open to the public, hopefully they have been updated to reflect the evidence that was found, because the warrants are known as what's to be impounded, which means they were returned and not available to the public. And this is according to the Quincy District Court. So hopefully these warrants do reflect the charges as they have been updated. Hopefully he is, suspected of being a suspect or person of interest in his wife's disappearance. And hopefully they will hold him on those charges until they can collect further evidence to prove that he is the source or cause of her disappearance. But guys, that is the end of part 1 of this video. If you like this video, please don't forget to leave me a like. Don't forget to leave me a comment down in the comment section below. And if you are not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.